2NURFM News for our sponsor, Tile Warehouse Warners Bay. Open 7 days for your convenience.
It's 2 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Annabelle Regan with 2NURFM Hunter News. Shadow Minister for Vocational Education, Sharon Bird, is in the Hunter today, calling for action against unregulated third-party training providers. She was joined by Hunter MPs Jill Hall and Pat Conroy at Belmont TAFE to meet with staff and students before hearing from people who have been affected by unethical vet brokers at a forum in Cardiff this afternoon. They say that a number of students have approached them with large debts they received from courses which didn't suit their needs or from which they had withdrawn. Carlton MP Pat Conroy says to always do your research before entering study.
Always do your research. If you're going to a private sector provider, which is perfectly fine, make sure they've got a good reputation. If you're going to TAFE, make sure it's a course that you think will lead to a job in the end. And the really important thing is that you need to have confidence that the career you're training for will be there when you finish your course. So do a bit of research, talk to employers and see whether they think there's good opportunities in that sector.
A $103 million duplication of the Toole Street Bridge and Coromont Road at Kooragang is set to begin this week. Early work will include building road embankments at the southern end of the bridge and in the long pond area of the northern side of the Coromont Road. Approximately 33,000 vehicles, including more than 3,000 heavy vehicles, use this road daily as a main corridor connecting Newcastle with the city's airport and Port Stephens. Hunter Regional Development Australia CEO Todd Williams says it's an important project for the region.
Works will commence in the duplication of the Toole Street Bridge first, I believe. So you'll see some work over there starting soon, and it's just a really good case actually about what Hunter can achieve. It's the number one infrastructure priority for the Hunter in terms of economic infrastructure and being able to articulate that as a region, getting state government funding and approval and also the federal government funding and approval.
A number of Newcastle councillors are rallying to create a public holiday for next year's Newcastle Regional Show. The council are to vote on a major public consultation program tomorrow. This follows the council's failed attempts to create a public holiday for this year's show. Newcastle councillor Tim Crackenthorpe says the council is only taking the first steps towards a show public holiday.
Last time we applied for a show holiday, the minister said no, you've got to actually go and do a whole lot of consultation on this first. So this is just step one. Council will look to endorse the engagement strategy and get that into the public to see what public and the businesses believe should happen.
Meanwhile, Newcastle councillor Brad Luke says Newcastle is a major city and should not be afforded a public show holiday.
It will be a complete disaster for Newcastle. Newcastle is the second biggest city in this state, and here we are picking a day in the middle of nowhere to just have a public holiday. It is quite ridiculous. Newcastle needs to realise they're now no longer a small country town. We are a major city, and we really need to act like a major city.
The rehabilitation of the former BHP land within Belmont wetlands is being hindered by the presence of foxes. 40,000 plants have been added to the site in order to facilitate the 170 wildlife species within the wetlands. A fox baiting program is currently being undertaken in an attempt to rectify the issue. Chairman of the Belmont Wetlands State Park Trust, Greg Wright, says despite the issues with foxes, the park still has a lot to offer the community.
Encourage people to come and enjoy the park for all the huge variety of possibilities that it presents to the public, and we hope that we can introduce a lot more recreational ideas for especially family groups and make it a really user-friendly park for all of the users in the near future.
Older drivers in the Newcastle region have raised concerns and had their transport questions answered at the NRMA Older Drivers Forum. More than 15% of Newcastle's population is over the age of 65 and 2.6% is over 85. President of the NRMA, Kyle Loades, says the forum will provide necessary information to the Hunter's older drivers.
The forum is about our older, more mature drivers in the Hunter and providing an opportunity for them as they transition to all the issues of getting older, including losing your licence and looking at alternate forms of transport, really providing information to people. It's very tough to find information and all the services to support them.
In finance, the All Ords is down 123 points at 50.71 and $1 Australian dollar is buying 71.72 US cents.
Sport, thanks to our sponsor Warners Bay Sports Club.
The Newcastle Knights have put on 6 tries to win their semi-final over Mounties 30-26 yesterday and earn their spot in the New South Wales Cup Grand Final. They'll take on the Wyong Roos, who defeated Canterbury 44-20 in the afternoon's earlier game. Newcastle come into the Grand Final in great form after tallying up Manly, Penrith and minor premiers Mounties in their run to the big game. The Jets have claimed a 1-0 victory over the Central Coast in their last trial game of the pre-season. Jason Hoffman broke the deadlock in the 53rd minute when he put a header past Mariners keeper Paul Izzo. Jets keeper Mark Birighitti had no such troubles at the other end, shutting out the Mariners strikers. And Hamilton have won the Newcastle Hunter Rugby Union Grand Final 14-7 over Wanderers. The Hawks trailed until the 56th minute when outside centre Tana Lauti crossed to bring the score to 8-7, with 2 penalties taking Hamilton to minor major premiership double. That's sport. I'm Georgia Lupton.
2NURFM news time is 2:05.